Today, guys, we got Barber here. He plays position 3, 4, and 5. This game, he's playing Mirana. I've been playing a lot of Mirana position 4 lately, so it's going to be really easy to try and help him or teach him some ways or things that he can improve on to play a better roamer, right? This is not a core Mirana. First of all, we're going to watch like your laning and how you normally play your hero, or like what you're doing with your hero, and like see if there's anything that you yourself can come up with that can improve your playstyle. So what I mean by that is I'm gonna try and get you to realize your own mistakes. So next time you can like avoid it. If you like our content, please do like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click the notification button below so you will be notified when a new video will be released. Just to start this game, you have like some kind of an interesting build. Is there any particular reason why you like to start this with these items?
Yeah, so it seems like it used to be like a boots tangos was like the build, and then it's kind of
Right.
switched to more regen. And so
Okay.
I've been kind of just going with what Dota Plus says, or just trying to stack up. So you'll see I just try to get more regen this time, and then I'm trying to be more harassing, like so I got more stat items too. So really I just want to right click and I want to stay in lane and shoot arrows.
No, that's perfect. So actually the latest build I've been going on Mirana is like 2 sets of tangos. I don't really buy healing sub because I feel like I'm not gonna trade to like 100 HP and then heal up, where I rather trade for like 100, 200 health and then tango up instead. Something like that. So I'm constantly topped off, and then I've really liked the double fairy fire, 2 branches on the circuit build. I'm sure you've seen me go with that, and that's because you get 4 stats and you get plus 8 damage in total.
Is that just so you can right click them? Like I've seen the fairy fires.
Exactly. It's so you can
It
right
just
click
seems
them.
so greedy to me. Like I'm so used to being such a, I don't know, I played a lot of 5 before this, so it's like fairy fires are like such a strange thing.
Fairy fires, the understanding you should have about fairy fires, it's like a bait item, right? Depending on how much armor you have, 1 fairy fire usage pretty much tanks up like 3 hits. So you can be trading with someone and they think you're about to die, and then you pop a fairy fire and suddenly they need to hit you 3 more times. So they think, yeah.
I definitely think it's something I take advantage of my bracket, because like when I play mid and I fairy fire, like they're like surprised.
Oh yeah, exactly. And support side lanes is all the same as well, right? And 4 damage is insane because having 8 damage to start is so good for a hero like Mirana, who hits pretty fast anyway, but has low base damage. So you can like constantly hit their carry, make them annoyed, you know, maybe trigger them to start blaming their support, and then they start tilting in the game. There's so many games I play support Mirana, and all I do is like hit their carry all the time, and they just get tilted out of the game already in like the first 5 minutes.
It's the best.
Yeah, so I really wouldn't suggest going for a healing salve right away. You can go healing salve later with like your next gold, but if you watch your normal games play, like you don't use your healing salve to like 3 or 4 minutes in the game anyway.
Right. So, how many on your floors? Like how many times are you buying salve? Because like
never.
I'm buying it as a 5 and 4. So you never get. Okay,
yeah, it's far more efficient to have tangles than it is to have salve. It costs less. It'll heal you more, right? So I like never buy a healing salve on a position 4, but on a position 5 though, I will buy a healing salve all the time.
Oh, for sure.
Because I want to use that on my carry. Okay. So this game, you start at bottom, you help your slave lane get a kill, which is really good start. But one thing you gotta consider is when you do this play and you go help bottom, you're not helping top, right? So your top laner is like all by himself. As soon as you can TP, you need to TP up here, or else your off laner can't enter the lane. Because they won't know you're bottom, starting as a tri lane, and then then the support on the other side is gonna like start zoning you.
So I'm about to walk all the way up there, just so you're saying I should TP. Okay.
Yeah, because you're starting with 3 free TPs, right? Why not? Does it cost you much? It's just 75 mana, right? You can just pop your clarity if you need to do that. Because you see what happens here is like the NS starts getting hit and he's getting zoned. But if you're here,
I'm apologizing to him right now. I'm like, hey, I'm on my way.
Exactly, but there's always obviously a solution, which is just you straight up TPing top. Yeah, because if you see here, the range creep got denied by the Luna already. Another creep got denied, and this NS just going in for the 1 XP here.
If that was me, I'd be mad already.
You'd be very mad. It's like none of these kills will be worth it.
Where's my Mirana?
Exactly. So let's use that TP, especially like when we go here for first blood. It's completely worth it for you to just use the TP because you're gonna need to help this guy. Yeah. Okay. You arrow the range creep. Nice. I see you're learning. Do you know why you normally arrow the range creep? So your core don't get
Because
triggered?
typically they'll just the Luna will just aggro the creeps onto it and deny it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
exactly. And you don't
the
want your
dog
opponent
will
to
take
take.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want your opponent to like take hostage of your range creep. So here you pull the creeps, and then you go all the way around here, or in front of the tower. Okay, interesting. I really like this play because this made them tank the tower a little bit. The creeps there, and
Yeah,
then you
and he
also got the wave
blocked
here.
the hard camp, so I
Mm-mm.
can pull anyway.
Okay.
It's a
Well,
good move.
anyway,
Yeah.
I love the move that you did here, where you pull this because your NS is like a weak hero anyway. It's hard to fight with him, and you can't wait for the wave to come back. So you pulling the
Thanks.
wave here, putting it in front of the offlaner is amazing. So well played there, and this is gonna make it very hard for them to do something about that. And at this point, your job, what is your job? Now that the wave is here.
So my job, I'm just gonna. I want to hang out here. Like I want this lane to be here, and I want to just make sure this warlock's not pushing, and I want the Night Stalker to gain levels. Because I
Okay.
know he's like an experience-based hero. Like I
Yeah.
want him to just hit 6 ASAP. So I'm
Right.
trying to get him most of it and harass this guy.
Okay. Not bad, right? The only thing is the way that this lane goes back is if
Right.
they pull the camp. So,
Right.
like, although you're here, you're harassing this guy, it's okay. Now, if this was a, let's say, a Sand King, right? This Luna's 100% dead. But because it's a Night Stalker, she might not be dead unless you, yeah. It's like
Miss
very
my
hard,
arrow.
right? It's very
Right.
hard for you to try to kill that guy. So, ideally, what you're doing in this situation when the NS is over here farming is you're stopping the Warlock from pulling,
Right.
right?
Got it.
And then, like, hit these creeps, pull them down here, and then you can, when you see on your minimap, like if you look at the two lanes, it's like exactly equal, right? Like you see where the creeps pass here, you will know that the warlock cannot pull up here already, right? You can just look at the minimap.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
once the
that's
creeps are gone here, yeah. So after that happens, you can just go back and start harassing the Luna. Then when the creeps on your minimap like get over this area, you can already go back here and stop them from pulling again.
got it.
Right? If you keep doing that over and over again, what's going to happen is the NS is going to be here farming, and the Luna's going to be here, the Warlock's going to be here, and this Luna over here is going to be constantly scared because
Right.
she knows that you're like in between the Warlock and her,
Right.
stopping the
Got
pulls. Yeah.
Right.
Eventually, what happens is the Warlock gives up and he goes into a lane with you, and now you and the NS are over here, and you can like chase down the Luna or harass her, blah blah blah, whatever you want to do.
Got it.
Cool. This guy's doing a really good job because he keeps blocking your big camp, not
Yeah.
giving you any experience. Quite annoying, huh?
Oh, very.
And then you're back here again.
Radiant structures are
Alright, and at this point, like how you want to do is obviously lane over here. If you're in a game where you're against like a melee carry and you have like a even stronger offlaner than a Night Stalker, what you would ideally like to do, especially if you're in the lane at the start, is like you want to play either here and you want to hit them over these trees, or you want to play on the left side here and hit them like on this side, and you keep hitting the carry over and over again. Or anyone actually just hit somebody, and like if you're over these trees and hitting them, they can't actually trade back with you because you have 630 attack range. So early game, like you want to utilize this long attack range plus your +8 damage you got from your items and just keep on chipping away at them. And this
Right.
will like naturally give your offlaner free farm because they're gonna be so focused on you and what you're doing to harassing them.
Got it.
Yeah. So all like the thing about Mirana is like all the small wins are very important and they like add up to a lot. And it might not seem like a lot to you, but these guys are always going to be tilted by the fact that there's a hero who has longer range in them constantly hitting them, and when you're level 2 you can always escape. Yeah. So what I like to do for arrowing in the lane and stuff is like when I'm going in the side, I tend to arrow when the opponent is like near the range creep. So I arrow towards the range creep. So if they get hit, they get hit, right? If they don't get hit, then they hit the range creep. So you don't lose anything.
Right.
It's like really good. Like right there, if you actually aim towards this range creep, because you see the Luna angling towards the range creep there, it's like a win-win situation for you no matter what. And you always get so much farm when you're doing that too. Is there anything that you feel like you could have done earlier in this game? here?
Like here particularly, like I feel useless, like because I want him to get experience.
Right.
I don't have any mana, so me just sitting there, I don't have any more regen left. Like at this point, I feel like I would go mid, because the lane's pushed. I want him to get experience, but even then, it's like I've got a Doom.
Right.
Like, how do we kill that guy, right?
Okay.
So this is where I need help because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
where do I go?
First things first, you gotta check the timer, right? It's 4 minutes,
Right.
almost 4 minutes. So before this, where like you're here, at 3:30, you should already be thinking, especially because the lane's here too, you should already be thinking about going mid. Even if the lane isn't here, if the lane is up here, you should still be thinking about going mid for the power rune here.
Should I always go? Is that just like a thing I should like
You
at
should.
3:30?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like 3:30, you should think about it, and then you rotate towards there when you feel appropriate.
Got it.
Because this meta, power runes is everything. And for your opponent mid laner and your mid laner, it's very important that your team gets the power rune. Whether your teammate gets a bottle or you pick up the rune yourself. Like you can get a regen, DD, haste, arcanes, like all these things are useful.
Right.
Right? And like you go here, at 4 minutes, a rune spawns, great. If it doesn't spawn, okay. You can see middle, if you want to throw an arrow out, feel free to do it. Right? So let's just look like what would have happened. You would have been here, you would have checked the rune, maybe it doesn't spawn here. But like after that, what you can do is you can already like start running into a jungle here. You can just throw an arrow, you can chuck an arrow at one of these camps if you want. Or you can kill this camp if you want. Because that's the thing, that's the beauty of Mirana. You can always get XP because of this spell. Or you can go from this angle and see if there's a chance to arrow mid. Also fine. And especially if the lane is like pushed out here. And in a normal game, I'm assuming you don't have an NS, you have a stronger core. You can definitely just go back here and play to like kill the Warlock or the Luna. Because you're gonna be way stronger. Like that's one of the strengths of Mirana too. Especially if you were harassing the opponent support and core properly in the lane, annoying them, you're gonna feel much better to make those aggressive moves on your opponent. I like to sit in the top lane and like constantly annoy the opponent carry. You don't always have to go mid, right? Like to make a play there. You're just going mid for like a power rune, and if by chance that's a good time for you to also go mid to arrow him, go for it. It's like everything I tell you is like trying to do, it's like accomplishing two things with one movement, essentially.
Right.
So you always have like a variety of options like in the moment. So here you already check top rune. You arrow the camp here, perfect. Get some XP for yourself. Wait a bit. Where are you now? You're going for the bounty. This is really good. You get the bounty rune. You got 2 couriers, amazing. This is all
So
good
good.
stuff. Oh yeah, feels great. Now you go to base. And
Level 2 feels bad. Feels like I'm just too low level.
Oh no, that's okay.
My problem with 4 is that like I'll get behind the 5.
Right. So the thing about supports is that you will always be able to catch up because outposts will give you some XP, and later once you there's more creeps coming out onto the map, right? Like if you go to one lane, you kill a wave, and then you go to another creep wave, and then you kill that wave too. That's already like 1.5 levels for you.
Right.
Like you will get your levels back.
Here.
Right. You shouldn't feel bad. You know why? Because this guy's level 5. Look at the Luna. She's not even yet level 5. Right? And because of that, he was able to like go in and kill this Luna with your team. So it's really good. And do you see on your minimap, these two guys are doing something top, right? What do you feel like doing at this point in the game?
So right here, I'm like debating teleporting mid to, like I said, I'm level 2 and it's bothering me. There's nobody there. And then I just see Fury on TP. So now it's like, I think I have to go top.
Yes, and what do you end up doing here?
I go top. I'm like, yeah.
All right, that's fine. That's completely fine. I think at this point, this Doom is like kind of dead anyway. I definitely would have, I would have definitely like seen the angle to TP mid and arrow this catapult.
I was deciding,
Right. I mean, you just have to assess that, oh, this guy is like super out of position, you can't help him. I like what you're thinking, like you want to help him, right? Which isn't bad. I think you could have helped him maybe if you toss the arrow at this Warlock here, who's like running in a straight line towards the Doom. So the way I
was going for the Fury on, I was like,
right.
Obviously, the catapult there.
Yeah, so the way I think about arrows is like I always think about where my opponent is gonna go when they're looking at one of my teammates to kill. I always use my teammates as bait when I'm Mirana. So this guy is like this Doom is gonna run like this, his Warlock is gonna run like this. So if you toss an arrow at this path where there's also trees and you can't like walk over the trees, the chance of you hitting this arrow is like 90% plus.
Right.
Right, because he's just hitting and walking, and you know that he has to walk by these trees. Like there's no other path, and if you arrow this guy, maybe you kill him. That's the best case scenario. But overall, it just doesn't feel good.
I think
right?
if I hit the arrow, I think the Night Stalker probably kills the Warlock, right?
Yeah. He'll probably kill the Warlock, exactly.
So, okay.
So
Yeah, so I feel like that was a bad play because, like I said, like the Doom dies anyway. I miss out. I'm still level 2.
Right. So
Feels like a disaster.
when you play Marana, one of the things about Marana that's really important is that you're always looking on the map where the opponent has catapults alive and how you can get rid of them right away with your arrow, right? What I normally do is at this point in the game, I might still be either top or I'm checking the top rune because it's 6 minutes, right? At this point.
Right.
So if I was top already, 5:30, the catapult comes, I already arrow this catapult, then I run mid, I check the rune, and then I arrow their catapult on the mid tower. So what this does naturally is that you have a catapult on your side top that's going to go into your opponent and pressure their tower. And then you also might still have a catapult mid that's going to go into your opponent and also pressure the tower. So Marana, even though you yourself haven't done anything, but by removing the catapults on your opponent's side, you're actually applying insane amount of pressure to your opponent in the early game.
Right.
Because like at this point, it's so difficult to actually kill these catapults quickly
Oh, for sure.
for anyone. So, and Marana has that secret weapon of the Sacred Arrow that can kill it instantly.
Okay.
Right. So all this like early game pressure is so good, and even if you're low level, it doesn't matter because this shit auto kills the creeps anyway.
Right. Okay.
So you want to like try and do that as much as you can in the early game. So now that you see like 3 people in the top lane, you're sticking around, you're still like level 2. Yeah, at this point, like I wouldn't mind you like still leeching some XP as long as you're like hitting your opponent, you know, and zoning people out.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not even like trying really to wreck
Right.
him.
Right. If you're hitting him, like this NS isn't gonna mind you taking his XP because you're gonna be giving him farm, but you're also putting like some kill threat on this guy
Right.
by
That
being
makes
there.
sense.
Right. And this is
Okay,
why
just-
like you feel under farm because you're not like applying pressure to your opponent while taking experience. So you just go stack, you get a nice juicy arrow, that's very nice. You leap in for the play, really good. You get the trade, that's worth it because he's the carry and he's not farming now. You D-ward here even, really nice. 8 minutes, runes are spawning. Ideally here you're also doing the same thing, you're helping this guy because this game you have a Doom, but let's say your average mid heroes are like Ember Spirit, Void Spirit, right? Some of the Spirit bros.
Yeah, somebody needs a bottle.
Right, they have the bottle, and when you go here, let's say the enemy mid laner is going to the rune too. Now all of a sudden with one of your Spirit bros, you can just he can set up arrows for you. Right, so all of a sudden you're like creating opportunities for yourself to be able to be in a right position to arrow someone. And you're also while you're still securing the rune for your mid guy. So either you secure the rune for the mid guy or you kill somebody because they're contesting it. So these are like all the small things that will allow you to catapult yourself and also enable your team. Like Marana is an enabler. That's pretty much your #1 goal. You even buy the words here. Your team took bottom tower, but they died unfortunately. And what is your play now? You're running mid.
Oh yeah, we were gonna gank this guy and he just doomed him anyway.
Yeah, it's good. I think he's dead anyway here. Oh, he didn't die. Wow. Oh, he did die. Okay. And then you just showed up mid, plant the ward, trying to get some XP too. Going for arcane boots. Alright, I mean, the thing is, at this point in the game, like, if I'm you, I would never feel bad about whatever has happened. Obviously, I would have played better, right? Like,
Yeah.
you have the lowest net worth, but it doesn't matter because you're going to be able to catch up because eventually you're going to have max Starstorm, and when you start going into lanes, because your team can't outpush lanes, right? Only the Doom can with, like, a Scorched Earth, but it's, like, not really a low cooldown spell. So once you get arcane boots, you can always be thinking about pushing lanes out for your allies because your allies want to like farm jungle creeps or whatever anyway. Right? So if you push the lanes out, that means your opponent has to deal with that, and that gives information to your teammate that, oh hey, this guy is here, he can't come kill you, so now I can just, you know, you can just go and jungle. And then you just keep putting yourself in a more riskier place and constantly pushing lanes out. And by doing that, you will naturally get levels and farm on your hero. So you shouldn't worry what happens in the first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes, your XP is very irrelevant, especially on a hero like Mirana, because you're not trying to, you know, get to your level 6 where you got like a finger or something, you gotta kill somebody. And there's Token, obviously. So,
Right.
yeah. So at this point, like for me, what you've accomplished on the map is not bad. Right? You got some kills on the map, you stack some camps, whatever. Like as a support, you shouldn't feel bad with how much you've accomplished. You should always be thinking about like what's my next step and what's my next move and how do I like, you know, get these lanes out so my team feels more secure and more comfortable on the map. How do I remove pressure from my teammates? And Mirana, how she removes pressure is by killing the catapults, essentially. So as long as you understand you're killing catapults and you're like right clicking people and bringing them down and putting them like in an awkward position, you should already be very satisfied with your gameplay.
Got it.
And that's like pretty much supports all in general. Most of the time supports are feeding is because they're trying to do too much and they're trying to do way more than they're actually capable of doing. So here, oh, I saw that. You didn't get the catapult there, but now
no, and then he comes in with the DD, and I'm like, great.
Yeah, but do you see how scary? Yeah. Okay, now you got it. All right, a good player would have protected that catapult with his life there. You know.
For sure. That's why I was like, DD Furion with Trance and a catapult.
Yeah.
I was like,
that would have been scary. Yeah. So you can see like how the catapult being alive versus it being dead, like what you're doing by removing it, right? Like. Imagine someone else has to deal with this. Holy shit!
Oh, for sure.
Right? They'll be so scared. But you as a support, it's like you're doing something good for your team. And
as far
don't
as build goes, don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't. You can go like level 1, maybe level 2 arrows if you feel like in your laning stage you can land a lot of arrows because it has a really high level 2 damage. But don't go level 3 arrow. You need your Star Storm. You need to start maxing that out because that's your damage source and that's how you push lanes out too.
Okay.
Right, because right now like you don't even feel like using this level 1 Star Storm anymore, right?
No, it feels so bad. Yeah,
it feels terrible at this point. It's like 11 minutes in, so
I
this is probably
creep with it.
Right here, like if you use your level 2 Star Storm, that's not bad because you'll bring all these like trends down pretty low. I don't know, good. And when you use Starstorm, especially if it's like level 2 plus, what you want to do is you want to like leap on top of them and pop it, because it does the second Starstorm, right?
Right.
And the second time it'll do 75% the damage. That's a lot of damage.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
This is insane amount of damage, and that's just pretty much your bread and butter. Where like someone stuns for you, you arrow. Then once doing like when it comes to almost the end duration of the arrow, you can just like leap in, Starstorm, finish them off. After that, because it'll go on to like the closest target pretty much.
Right. I don't think I do that enough this game. I think I feel like I think I play like too far away and don't use my Star Storm enough.
So here you actually roam top. You're going for a pipe actually. Why even pipe? Because the Venomancer?
Yeah, just because the Venom.
Okay, fair enough. I like the Guardian Greaves a bit more. I think it's like better for your team overall, especially when you're fighting as 5, and the last effect of the Guardian Greaves when your allies get low is like really good too. But in this game, because you're Venom, you can go like mech first and then you can go for the pipe after that. Because the mech gives you like this insane team fighting capabilities, right? Oh, you also go for max arrow. So this is already your biggest problem in this game.
Right.
You go for the max arrow, you're too reliant on your arrow to do anything in fights, and then all of a sudden you're ruining your own capabilities of pushing lanes out and making space for your team by getting lanes out. And you're also diminishing your farming capabilities heavily.
Right. Yeah, I think yeah.
This is why you're the lowest net worth in the game. Because of max arrow and you have no way to use Starstorm to push lanes out anymore. So your team goes mid, you can't do anything.
I feel like I don't do anything there because I throw the level 4 arrow and then it's deuces.
Yeah, it feels bad, right? So like in these situations, yeah. So I was gonna say was like in these situations, like if you had max Starstorm, what do you think would happen? You would arrow this guy, right? And then you see all these 5 heroes. What would you be doing next right now? After you realize this fight's over.
I probably would have been in there star storming like the whole
Okay.
at least because you know hitting 3 of them with a level what would have been like a level 3 or 4 star storm would have been
Right. It would have been level 4, because
right.
or if you only got one level narrow, right? Or even higher,
Yeah.
because you would have been maybe level 8 because you were pushing lanes out or something
Right.
in this game. So yeah, you could have gone in there, you could have star stormed, then the CK could have used this phantasm and went on the Luna and killed her, right? That would have been one
Yeah.
thing. Another thing is, let's say this fight is actually over and you can't fight, you should already be running top and starting to split push. Because
Okay.
what's going to happen is your opponents are going to run mid and take this tower, and you have 2 heroes dead or 3 heroes dead, and you're not going to be able to accomplish anything by yourself. So you should already be split pushing and making your opponents like think twice. Oh, are we going to push mid, or are we going to defend top? Or like
Right.
even if they do push mid, at least when your team is alive, they can make a play on the map, because you would have pushed this lane into your opponent tower, and they would have had to, like, defend that and stuff.
Got it.
Instead of your
But just
teammates.
yeah.
Mhm.
So right after this, you would just head at top and
Yeah, I
chill
would have
out.
just exactly. I would have headed top. I would have started split pushing, and that way, if your allies revive, they don't have to think like, "Oh God, I need to go here and to push this lane out, and then I can go fight or something."
Right.
So if you do that job for them, then when they are alive, they can think like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go farm this jungle camp, or I'm gonna TP mid. I'm gonna fight with my teammate." There's like, you're removing the load off your teammates, and while you're pushing this lane, you're getting yourself a lot of farm, because you're gonna net all these creeps and maybe the 1330 wave that's coming as well, and that's already like halfway to your hood,
Right.
right?
Radiant's bottom tower.
But instead, what ends up happening is like you walk around like this, and you're like, oh God, okay, they're pushing, guys. I guess I'll arrow this golem and then chill here, and they just take your tower anyway.
Is under
I do
attack.
nothing.
Radiant structures
Yeah,
are
it's like nothing ends up happening,
Radiant's middle
and then now this NP is pushing top already,
Yeah.
and it feels really bad,
Sure does.
because like everybody's around mid,
Radiant's top tower is
and look
we're
at what
shoving
happens
this
here
again.
too.
middle tower is under attack. Radiant's
This is a good play though. Like they just used all their cooldowns, so he goes mid and like,
Exactly.
you try to
I think
do
that's
something.
why I think I tell them like, hey, they don't have rock. Like, let's just get.
Yeah,
a
let's
bit
go.
down.
That was a good play. I can
But
agree
I
with
think
that.
giving up top is bad.
Radiant's
Like to
bottom
one hero.
tower is
Like,
under
what do you,
attack.
or do you think
Yeah.
it's worth getting the mid?
I mean, it's pretty bad, but the thing is, like, you guys didn't go here and like start pushing the lane out, right, when the fight was
Right.
already over.
Right.
The
so we
problem-
missed our-
Right. The problem in your lineup is that you have very little lane shoving capabilities, and you're always gonna be like at a disadvantage of being able to push these lanes out and
Right.
fighting.
Yeah, we have no wave clear. I think I said the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, this level 2 Star Storm feels so bad, especially with the treants.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
Like it's.
Yeah.
I guess
I
I,
mean-
didn't realize until now how
Mhm.
bad that.
Radiant structures
Oh yeah.
Now I'm seeing it like as it happens. I'm like, what was I thinking?
Right. Like you're just an arrow at this point. You're like
Yeah,
an arrow
yeah.
bot.
It's terrible.
And the thing is like okay, so I'm gonna stop this right here, because like already your playstyle with the hero needs to change, obviously, right?
Sure.
So we talked about like the laning, what you should do, apply more presence with your hero, right click more and things like that, and in the lane, so that your offlaner can get more farm. While they're not looking at him, they're looking at you because you're harassing. Set up the arrows when your opponents are going into your teammates, so it's really easy because you know the path that they're going to take. Max out your star storm, so you get a bunch of clarities, you can have more damage in the fights, and you can also push lanes out. And then controlling the power runes every 2 minutes, extremely important, because if you get like a DD, haste, regen, arcane, even if your teammate doesn't have a bottle, it'll benefit you, and you can use that, right, to fight.
Right.
And then the last thing about Mirana is like you always want to try to get lanes out when nothing is going on, and then when fights are breaking out, you want to be there, ready to arrow for your team and being able to leap in and star storm like 4 heroes or whatever. And this hero plays a lot off on your teammates and
Okay.
their disables, right? Because you're a support. That's what supports do, right? They don't like do many solo actions. The only solo
Sure.
action you're doing is just pushing lanes out, shoving lanes out, so that your teammates will have more space to be able to farm more secure.
Right.
where we're pushing like more dangerous situations, or when they're alive, you know, your opponent can't just dive your towers because they need to be fixing the lanes that you pushed out. Okay, and the kind of items that you want to buy on support Mirana really depends on the game. I think this game mech into pipe is perfect because there's a lot of magic damage. Other games you might want like a vessel, right? Whatever items help boost your teammates essentially.
Right.
You get vessel because you buy it for your opponent's, you know, healing hero or whatever it may be.
Got it.
Yeah, right? And other than
So
that,
should
like
I've got one for the Warlock.
no, that's not worth enough, right?
Okay.
Warlock is not
It's
worth.
not like
Like
Morph, Timber.
right, exactly,
Okay.
exactly those heroes, perfect. So and then the one thing I want to tell you about Mirana is like don't be afraid to take the game late because this hero scales very well. You get, you know, the arrow cooldown, you got the spell amplification, you can push out lanes very safely because you got triple leaps you can get out with. Then late game you get the what do you call it, the multi-shot sacred arrows, which is
Right.
super annoying to deal with. You can go for Ethereal Blade late game for damage, you can go Aghanim's for damage. There's so many different builds that you can go, and your Moonlight is like super amazing. One thing you can do with Moonlight also is like when you pop smoke, and then once you get near the river, you pop Moonlight, you get like a 30% movement speed buff. Because this
Right.
one gives like 15% movement speed, this thing gives 15% more, like level 3 or whatever. And then all of a sudden you guys are like race cars and you're running into your opponent, and all of a sudden you come out of smoke and you just blow them up, right? And in your bracket,
Right.
sometimes people don't have like sentries all over the map,
Oh,
which
for
is
sure.
really nice, right? So that's pretty much the base of Mirana. And this game, like I see that you're good at playing with your teammates, which is amazing. So what you want to add to your repertoire is like how you harass, how you kill catapults, how you take runes and secure runes for your allies, and then how when your teammates cannot push a lane out, you're going there and getting those lanes out. And when you're doing that too, like try to buy some more clarities too. It would be very helpful.